All right, natural log and LN. Sorry. Is the same thing as log base E. And then I just want to let you know that E is a number. So in your calculator, sorry y'all. In your calculator, there are a couple places. So if you do second and divide, there's an E there. So second and divide, and it'll put E in just like this. When you hit enter, it's just like pi, how pi is always 3.14. E is always 2.71828, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so 2.71828. The other place that it's at is if you hit second and this button right here, LN, and the LN is what we're talking about today here. The only difference is this one throws that power box up there. So if you have like E to the 5th, you can just type it in, okay? If you do the other one where it's second divide, you can still do it a power if you hit the little power button and put it in. It doesn't matter. I just want to show you where it's at. All right, so natural log E is the same thing as LN. And then again, E is the same thing as a number. So you can do E to the 5th, you can do E to the 8th. It doesn't matter. It's all the same. Okay. So then it asks you to evaluate. And so I showed you how to find that E on your calculator. So I like to use second LN. So second LN. And LN is beside the 4, second LN. Type in 0.5 and we get 1.6487. And I always go 4 decimal places just for this. Okay. On the next one, second LN, -8. Be careful on this one. You guys see the E to the -4. That's scientific notation for times 10 to the -4. That means I'm going to put it up here so I can show you. 3.354, move the decimal back 4 places, and then fill in each hump with a 0. So to go 4 decimal places, try to get it all in there at the same time. E to the -8 is going to be 0.0003 if you do 4 decimal places. All right. Second LN, put a 2 in there. You get 7.389. And you can round that to a 1 or you can leave it at a 0. With being 4 decimal places, it's not going to mess your answer up if you don't round, okay? So you can leave regular 4 places or you can actually do the rounding. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. Morning. This is the list of pre-completed and not functions. Okay. Do you want this column right here? Thank you. Perfect. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. E to the -1.3 is what we're going to put in. Sorry about that, guys. And again, 4 decimal places is what I do. 2725. And again, if you don't round that 4th decimal place, it's okay. Because we have 4 numbers, it's going to make your answer still be perfectly fine, okay? All right, so then look at the next one. This is literally just putting in the LN key, but the one thing that I want you to remember is that LN is log base E of 3. Log base E of 3. So we're still doing logs, it's just different, okay? So you can put it in 2 different ways. You can do both. So you can hit your LN key. Remember, your LN key is beside your 4 right here. So LN3 is 1.0986. But I just wanted to show you that log base again. So math and up to log base, we can do E and then to the 3rd or 3. And you guys can see it's the same thing. So I just wanted you to know when you see log base E, we can change it to LN. All right, so I'm not sure why this doesn't have a number, so we're going to put it in as 1. And we see that ln1 gives us 0. All right, ln4, 1.3862, or I would take 0.3863. Okay, it rounds it up to the 3. And then the last one, ln 0.05, is negative 2.9957. Simply putting it in your calculator, nothing crazy. All right. Using it together, ln and e cancel each other out. Okay, ln and e cancel out each other. So here's why they cancel out. If we have log base e of e to the 4th, remember log base e is still ln and e cancel each other out. So again, that's the same thing as ln e to the 4th. They would cancel out and just leave you a 4. So it's the same thing that we did when we had the same log base. So remember before when we had log base 2 of 2 to the 4th, those canceled out. You remember that? So it's the same thing, same thing. So when we look at these, anytime we see ln and e next to each other, we're going to cancel them out and we're just left with that power, which is negative 4. ln and e next to each other, we mark them out and we're just left with 83. E to the ln marks out and we're just left with 3. E to the ln marks out and we're left with 3x. That rule right there is exactly how you're going to solve problems, okay? So solving using natural logs, the first thing that you're going to do on these 4 is just like we did on our logs, we're going to get e alone or all by itself. Okay, we're going to get e all by itself. So if we're looking at this, sorry, I'm going to use a highlighter that's not going to black it out. We want that part by itself. So how do I get that part by itself? And Zoomers, you can answer. That would be great. Nope. What are we doing right here?
Divide by -2.
Yeah, we're going to divide by, sorry, they couldn't hear you. We're going to divide by -2. Remember, these are multiplied together, so we're going to do the opposite, which is divide. Now, if there was a plus in between them, like this one has a plus or this one has a plus, then that's when we'll move it over, add or subtract. So don't worry, everybody makes that mistake. Okay, so we're going to divide by 2. We get our e, I think that's an m, to the m minus 2 equals, and then 15 over 2 is 7.5. Once you get e alone, you're going to ln both sides, just like we did log both sides the other day. Okay, ln both sides. So I just throw it down here like this. ln and e will cancel each other out. And there's your equation that you're trying to solve. M minus 2 equals ln 7.5. You're going to evaluate your ln in your calculator. We get m minus 2 equals, and 4 decimal places, 2.0149. And then how do I finish my equation? Add 2. There you go. Which gives me that m equals 4.0149. And that's it. Number 2 is the exact same. We need to get that e all by itself right here. So what are we going to do? Divide by -9. We get e to the 5n equals, and it's going to be a decimal, and that's fine, 3.8888. And again, 4 decimal places is plenty, okay? And you don't have to round. So it should be 8889, but it doesn't matter when you get those 4 decimal places. Okay. How do I get rid of E now that it's by itself? LN. So LN both sides. What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. The reason we do that is to cancel out the E. So we get 5N equals that LN 3.8888. If you want to do all of this at the same time, how do I get N by itself? Divide by 5, and I can just throw all that in my calculator at one time. So LN 3.8888, close that parenthesis, divide by 5, gives me that N equals 0.2716. And that's it. If you want to take it step by step and you want to LN and then write that down, and then you want to divide by 5 and write that down, that's fine, okay? But you can skip that as well. On the next one, I got to get this E by itself. So what do I need to do? Subtract 2. I get E to the V minus 9 equals 18. Get rid of E. How do we do that? LN both sides. What I do to one side, I have to do the other. So the equation I'm trying to solve is V minus 9 equals LN 18. You can go ahead and solve it, do the LN 18, and then finish your equation, or go ahead and do it at the same time. So what I'm talking about is I'm going to put it in my calculator all at the same time so I can be a little bit lazier. And that's serious. That's not me being like sarcastic or anything. I like to do everything all in one fell swoop. So just make sure you close the parenthesis on the back of the 18 plus 9 gives you 11.8904. If you gave me 8903, that's fine as well. Okay, so don't stress out about the rounding. I don't care. Pretty simple, right? Not too bad. Same thing on the next one. But be careful, we need the E by itself. So there's a couple things I need to get rid of. What do I need to do first? Go back to basics. What's on the same side but not with it? That 10 is not with the E. So I'm going to get rid of it. So I get 5E to the A plus 26 equals 78. And then how do I get E by itself? Divide by 5. So the equation that I'm trying to solve is E to the A plus 26 equals 78 divided 5. I don't know what that is, 15.6. There you go. How do I get rid of E? What I do to one side, I have to do to the other. And I'm left with A plus 26 equals LN 15.6. And then my last step, and I'll do that all in my calculator. So LN, make sure you guys can see it. LN 15.6, close that parenthesis, subtract 26. Gives me negative 23.2527. Just remember your 2 steps. Get E by itself and then LN both sides. All right, we're going to flip it over. We're going to solve for LNs. They are logs. Remember that. So we're going to solve them the same way that we would solve logs. So if we have one on one side, one on the other, we can just mark them out and solve the equation. If we just have one, we have to manipulate it. Okay. So what I'm talking about is we have one LN and one LN. So we can just mark out the LNs. They don't matter anymore. Is everybody good? My equation I'm trying to solve is 2p plus 7 equals 3p minus 3. Move your littlest p You can move either one. It doesn't matter. I just always move the littlest. I get 7 equals P minus 3. Add 3. And I get P equals 10. Now, remember, these are logs. Exponentials, you don't have to check. Logs, you do. So here's all you have to do. Put it into this side if you want to put it in. ln 2 times 10 plus 7. Make sure it gives you a whole number. It doesn't give you an error. So the other side, ln 3 times 10 minus 3, it gave you a good number. So this one does work. So make sure you check. We don't want extraneous solutions. We don't want it to mess it up. So check those solutions. So on number 6, I see ln on both sides. So I'm going to mark them out. I get negative x minus 9 equals positive 11. We're going to add 9 to both sides. I get negative x equals 20. Divide by negative 1. X equals negative 20. Make sure that it works. We only have to plug it in. On this side, you can't have anything to plug in because that's not any x's. So just this side. So ln negative 20. You could put positive 20 minus 9. Does not cause an error, so it's a good answer. And we move on. Okay, watch for errors. Same thing on the next one. 1 ln on one side, 1 on the other. We cancel it out. We're solving 24 plus n equals n squared minus n. When you have n squared and n, you have to factor. So get it equal to 0 and factor it. I want to leave my n squared positive so that I can factor it. So I'm going to move this n and I'm going to move this 24. That leaves me with 0 equals n squared minus 2n minus 24. We can use cheater method on here. Factors of negative 24 that add to negative 2. If you don't know what those are, remember you can use your calculator. I'm going to show you one more time how to put it in your calculator. So you would do negative 24 divide x, negative 24 divide x plus x. And again, I know that you probably know these factors. I'm just showing you in case you get a number you don't know in your homework. Okay, so put those in. Go to your table, and we're looking for the middle number, negative 2, and it's right down here at 4 and negative 6. So your factors are positive 4 and negative 6, which means your answers are going to be the opposite, negative 4 and positive 6. But we need to check those. So ln 24 plus negative 4, that one works. ln negative 4 squared minus negative 4, that one works, and they were the same number. So negative 4 works. And then try 6. You can even just plug them in regular, make sure it doesn't give you a negative or a 0. So that one is good. And then the next one is 6 squared minus 6, which gives me 30. So it's good as well. I know that it seems pointless when they both work, but when they don't, you don't want to get the wrong answer, okay? All right, same exact thing on the next one. 1 on one side, 1 on the other, we mark it out. We're left with 27 plus n squared equals 2n squared plus 6n. So when we have n squared and n, you have to factor. Keep your n squares positive, so that's why I always move the littlest one. And I'm going to move the 27. So minus n squared and plus, nope, minus 27. Let me move it over to, sorry, minus 27. So this gives you 0 equals. 2 minus 1 is 1n squared. I have a 6n and a minus 27. Factors of negative 27 that add to 6. This is cheater method as well. 9 and negative 3. Again, if you need your calculator, use it. Remember, you get your calculator on everything. All right. Our answers will be negative 9 and positive 3. If we plug it in, 27 plus negative 9 squared gives us a positive, so that's okay. 2 times negative 9 squared plus 6 times negative 9 gives us 108. So negative 9 works in both. And then check your 3. 27 plus 3 squared, that one works. 2 times 3 squared plus 6 times 3 also works. Oh, sorry. So we're good to go. All right. So those are all different. That's one set that you're going to look at. One log on one side, one on the other. Okay, so your other ones are going to be a little different. The reason the other ones are different is because they only have one ln. So you're going to get that ln by itself. So just like your e's, let me throw this back out here. On the e's, we got the e alone and then ln both sides. If we have one ln, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to get ln alone and we're going to e both sides. Okay, ln alone, e both sides. So with this very first one, we got to get this ln alone. And the way we're going to do that is to divide by 8. We get ln 9n equals 0. To get rid of ln, we're going to e both sides. We're going to e both sides. That way, ln and e will cancel out, and you have just a regular equation, e to the 0. You can do that in your calculator. Second ln, e to the 0. Remember, anything to the 0 power gives you 1. And then we're going to divide by 9. You can leave it as a fraction or put it in a decimal, and n equals 1/9. Remember, anything with ln, you want to plug in. So 8 ln 9 times 1/9 gives us a number, so we are good to go. Okay, we're good to go. The next one is the exact same problem. We got to get this ln right here by itself, so we're going to divide by -2. We get ln of 10x equals 4. We're going to e both sides. And then I'm going to go ahead and put in e to the 4th to get 54.5981. You can have 8 too, that's fine. Last step, divide by 10. X equals 5.4598. If you check it, 10 times 5 is 50 something, so it's a positive number. It's not going to mess anything up. Remember, we don't want negative or 0. All right. So those two are a little bit different. So remember your first step, get ln alone, e both sides. Right. The last 4 are those properties that you learned with logs. So remember our properties. I'm going to go back up to the top to put our properties. Multiply is the same as add. Divide is the same thing as subtract. And you can move your power front to back. So don't forget those. So remember, if we had log x plus log y, we could change it to log xy. Okay, remember those powers. If we had log x minus log y, we would change it to log x over y. And then we're not going to do this on any of the examples, but if you have them in your homework, if we had log base 3 of x squared, we could move that 2 to the front. Okay, so remember those, they work the same. Remember, LNs are logs, so it's the same thing. All right, give you a minute to write that down. All right. So back to these. We have two LNs. Between them is a minus. So we can put those two together by taking the negative 2x and dividing by 10, which gets it equal to 4, because I only want one LN on either side. Okay, I don't want multiple LNs on the same side. Now that I have one LN, just like before, the way I get rid of LN is I E both sides. So this cancels out. You're left with negative 2x over 10 equals e to the fourth is 54.5981. And then solve it. How do I get x by itself? The first thing I'm going to do is multiply by 10. So I get negative 2x equals 545.9815. And then we're going to divide by negative 2. So the first thing I did was multiply by 10, divide by negative 2. I get x equals negative 272.9907. If I plug it in right here, ln negative 2 times negative 272.9907, I still get a number, so I'm good. You're looking for an error. If an error happens, you just mark that number out. It's an extraneous solution. So this one works. I don't have to check it on the other one because it doesn't have an x. Okay. Your next one is exactly the same way. It has a minus between. So we're going to take and write one ln. And we're going to divide x plus 8 and 7 equals to 1. So combine those LNs. We're going to E both sides to get rid of this LN. That leaves us with x plus 8 over 7 equals, and remember I told you E is 2.71828, or just 2 is fine. I just keep it running in my calculator. So I multiply by 7. So in my calculator times 7, x plus 8 equals 19.0279. And then we're going to subtract 8. So in my calculator, just subtract 8. And I get 11.02797. You could have stopped at the 9, that's fine. If I plug it in here, 11 plus 8 gives us a positive number, okay? So nothing there hurt. The last two are addition. Remember that addition is the same as multiplication. So when we put these together, we're going to have x plus 2 times 3 equals 2. Now that we only have one LN, we're going to E both sides. If you want to go ahead and distribute that, that's fine. That's what I typically do. So 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 2 is 6. And then in my calculator, E squared is 7.3891. Again, round or don't, it doesn't matter. I keep it running in my calculator. I'm going to subtract 6. I get 3x equals 1.3891. And then we know to divide by 3. If I plug this into your x, it would be 2.4630, so it works. It is not extraneous. And then one more. Also add. So we're going to write 1 ln. We're going to multiply negative 2x and 7 to equal 1. We're going to e both sides to get rid of the ln. I just go ahead and multiply these together. Negative 2x times 7 is negative 14x. E to the 1 is 2.71827, blah, blah, blah. And then we're going to divide by negative 14. Divide by negative 14. X equals negative 0.1941. If we plug it in here, a negative times a negative makes a positive. It doesn't matter what the number is. As long as it's positive, it's going to work. Okay. Any questions? Pretty simple, not too bad. Let me look and see if there's anything weird. Let's look at number 10 for just a second. If you haven't looked at your quiz, this is your quiz. I want to run through number 10. And the only reason I'm running through number 10 is you guys see how it's got negative 11s, but this one's by itself. I feel like this one might have an extraneous solution. So I want to work it and show you one if it does. I don't know if it does, but it might. Okay. So we're going to work it. So you see all of these LNs, we can't have 2 on the same side. So I need to put those together. Since it's plus, I'm going to multiply. And you guys at home, you can just write this on your notes. It's not a big deal, but no, it's number 10 on your quiz today. So x plus 10 times x equals ln 11. Look at what you have. Since I have ln on both sides, I can mark them out. If you screw up and you e both sides like this, remember that they cancel out anyway. So you can't mess it up, okay? You can't mess it up. We're going to distribute. We have x squared plus 10x equals 11. Since I have x squared and x, I'm going to factor. So we got to get it equal to 0. So we get x squared plus 10x minus 11 equals 0. We want factors of negative 11 that add to 10. Those would be positive 11 and negative 1. And then this one is going to be negative 11, and this one is going to be positive 1. This one is a perfect example for me. Now, what you guys are looking at is that this is a possible answer, right? It's not the answer. Here's why. When I plug this negative 11 plus 10 into your calculator, ln negative 11 plus 10, what happens? See how it screws your calculator up? That means it's an extraneous solution. That means it does not work. So do not put that as your answer. Got it? When I plug in 1 plus 10 is 11. That's a positive number. That's good. If I plug it in here, it's a positive number. Same thing. If I try to do ln of negative 11, it's going to give me that error on my calculator. So the only solution that you have is the 1. So I'm glad that I did that example. It was a good one. All right. Number 11 is the same basic way. I mean, it doesn't have extraneous solutions. So that would throw that red flag for you to check. Notice none of the other ones have those multiple solutions on there. So let's see. Yep, that's the only one that looks like that. So the others probably will not have extraneous solutions. Got it? Everybody good? All right, Zoomers, I'm going to stop sharing, stop recording.